In this video, I'm going to share with you what to look for in a quality electric toothbrush and my favorite brushes over $100, around $100, and then under $100. There are actually only 4 crucial elements to look for in a quality electric toothbrush. You want sufficient power and movements to provide non-contact clean. You want a daily clean mode and perhaps also a sensitive clean mode. You want a pressure sensor, and then you need a 2-minute timer. I personally also look for a 5th thing, which is Bluetooth app connectivity for my toothbrushes. It makes brushing more interesting for me as someone who struggles sometimes to find motivation to brush for the full 2 minutes. And yes, I'm a dentist, but I'm also human. So this is a personal preference. It's not a must-have for everyone, but if you wanted a 5th thing, that would be one. Everything else is just add-ons, bells and whistles that are more based upon your needs. The more that are included, the higher the price point. Examples of add-ons are more brush heads, a travel case, magnetic chargers, LED touchscreens, app connectivity, AI, 3D brushing tracking, battery type and life, and then additional brushing modes. A little caveat here before I get into the best brushes in specific price ranges. I am not sponsored by any of the brands I'm discussing here. I'm sharing my professional opinion as a dentist and also my personal preferences. Alright, so over $100. The main brands you have are Sonicare and Oral-B. Obviously at this price point, both Oral-B and Sonicare hit all 4 requirements. They have non-contact clean, they provide a daily clean and a sensitive clean mode, they have a pressure sensor, and a 2-minute timer. A little side note about the non-contact cleaning effect. It is achieved differently by the 2 brands. All that non-contact cleaning means is that the brush is not only cleaning by physically scrubbing your teeth with the bristles, but also via fluid dynamics or the movement of water. Enough power is generated by the movement of the bristles that water is forced across the surfaces, like between the teeth, where the bristles aren't in physical contact, providing some additional cleaning action. The best analogy I can think of is cleaning the dishes with the water sprayer. It's not as thorough as scrubbing the dish physically, but it is still helpful. But this is why you still need to get between your teeth and physically scrub with floss. Oral-B achieves non-contact clean via its 3D clean technology, which includes rotation, oscillation, and pulsation, or in the case of the IO series, microvibration. Sonicare achieves it via rapid back and forth movements at high frequency. That's why you hear that humming sound, and it's called sonic. It's producing 30,000 or more brush strokes per minute. A little marketing tidbit here, you're going to see companies refer to movements now instead of brush strokes. Since a stroke is both an up and a down movement, in order to sound like they have more movements than other brands, companies now list movements per minute instead of strokes per minute, which for Sonicare is like 61,000. So the up and down of the stroke count as separate movements. So you're not seeing 30,000 anymore, it's 60,000-ish. Oral-B doesn't really have strokes since it's rotating, so they list 48,800 movements per minute. And any brush though with 30,000 plus strokes is typically referred to as sonic, so like Burst, Colgate Home, O Clean X, and that's why Oral-B isn't technically sonic, even though it can produce non-contact cleaning. The key here is just the number of movements. If you have a battery-powered toothbrush, it's just not strong enough to produce enough movement to generate non-contact cleaning. So you need to use it more like a manual toothbrush, i.e. you're doing that scrubbing in gentle circles type of business. I'll put a little demo at the end of this video and I'll show you proper brushing technique with an Oral-B electric toothbrush. I've got some other videos that show you the proper technique with a manual toothbrush. In the over $100 range, and honestly at all price points, I personally prefer Oral-B because it has a smaller round brush head capable of cleaning 1 tooth at a time versus Sonicare's rectangular head that cleans 2 to 3 teeth at once. So this is an Oral-B and this is a Sonicare. You can see that Oral-B is meant to mimic the little scrubbing polisher that we have in the dental office, and it rotates similarly. I have used both the Sonicare Diamond Clean and the Oral-B IO9, and the IO9 offers a better brushing experience in my opinion. What I love is there is an LED smiley face on the brush handle that grins when you reach 2 minutes, which honestly is super motivating. Maybe it's just because I'm a child at heart, but I love it. Let me show you. I'm only going to brush for like 5 seconds and it will be disappointed in me. Look, he's sad. And when you get to 2 minutes, it smiles. I also prefer the Oral-B app and its tracking compared to the Sonicare, which I can show you a few seconds of those 2 apps side by side here. The higher price points for these come from app connectivity with 3D tracking capability. Both show you the areas on your teeth that you're brushing or that you're missing. They also have fancier charging stations. The Diamond Clean actually has a glass cup, and then both have travel cases. The Oral-B's travel case even includes a built-in charger, which is kind of cool. They have lithium-ion batteries, which last longer than nickel metal hydride, which you'll see in other brands or even lower tiers of these brands. They also have lots of extra cleaning modes, and they include several spare brush heads, which those can run 15 to 20 bucks a piece. So if you get 4 of those, that might be the difference between $50 and $100. In the high-end category, Oral-B IO9 is my pick, Santa's actually bringing me a pink one. This is my husband's. Now, around $100, you can generally find these brushes 10 to 20 bucks off, especially around the holidays, which does make them about 100 bucks. Oral-B and Sonicare again are my go-to brands, and they hit all 4 requirements: non-contact clean, daily clean and sensitive modes, a pressure sensor, and a 2-minute timer. There are some other brands I'm less familiar with here in the US, like Burst and Oclean X, which may be alright if they hit the big 4, and you can check that out yourself, but I haven't personally tried them yet. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube, and you'll be the first to hear if I do. The Oral-B in this price range is the IO6 and the Sonicare Protective Clean in either the 6100 or the 5300. I like the IO6 because it still has that smiley face brushing timer on the handle, which truly, it's just so helpful. And these still have travel cases and use lithium-ion batteries, but they cost less because the chargers are more basic, they have fewer modes, the Oral-B app experience is less precise in terms of zones cleaned and tracking, and the Sonicares, they don't even connect to the app, and then they include fewer extra brush heads. That's the difference between the two Sonicares. But again, my personal pick is Oral-B, the IO6. In the under $100 range, you might be surprised to find that the Sonicare and Oral-B kids brushes hit all 4 requirements. And just like toothpaste, a grown-up can use a kid's toothbrush. They work just fine. With Oral-B, you have to be sure you get the ages 6+ version so that you get enough power for the non-contact clean. The 3+ version does not provide that. The Sonicare is only a bit odd in that it builds up to 2 minutes for the timer that it has over a few days initially. So they're assuming it's like a kid brushing and they're building up to those 2 minutes. But once you hit 2 minutes, it stays there. There are no extra bells and whistles for either brush. It provides enough power for non-contact cleaning. It has a daily and a sensitive clean mode. It has a pressure sensor and a timer. And although you can still connect to an app, it's just not showing zones or tracking. It's really just for entertainment. It's like brushing bubbles off of the screen with Mickey Mouse. If you want a 3D tracking app experience at this price point, you should actually go with the electric, not battery-powered Colgate Hum. The downside is that it lacks a pressure sensor, so you do need to be aware of the force you're using and brush gently. But it does have the best app experience at a low price. Colgate does describe its Sonic Clean as producing up to 30,000 strokes per minute, so it may not be quite as effective, but that may be an acceptable compromise if you really do need a quality app experience to help you with brushing. All 3 of these brushes can typically be found for about 50 bucks. One thing I forgot to mention, if you do not want to use a children's toothbrush, you can get the Oral-B Smart 1500. It is basically the same thing. It hits all 4 points, it's just not a kid's brush. Usually the 6+ brushes don't have any obvious like stickers or kid kind of identifiers, but if you really don't want to have a kid's brush, you can get the Smart 1500. It actually does not connect to any app and it costs like 20 bucks more, but if you want to, go for it. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. Do please find me on my socials and let me know, and hit that follow or subscribe button while you're there. And please know that you can clean your teeth just as well using a $2 soft bristled manual toothbrush with proper technique. So an electric brush is not a necessity for good oral health, but for many people, it is a helpful tool. Here's that demo of proper brushing technique with an Oral-B IO9.
How to use an electric toothbrush. The dentist demonstrates. You want to divide your mouth into 4 parts, brushing each for 30 seconds. You want to spend 10 seconds on each of the 3 areas of the teeth: the fronts, the biting surface, and the back sides. You don't need to scrub. You just want to let the toothbrush do the work, moving it along slowly, tooth by tooth. Repeat for each quadrant, and then boom, you're done. It's been 2 minutes.